Talk of the Town. I'm Robyn Zimmerman. I'm excited to introduce to you all our next guest, David Shue. He has a farm in Pennsylvania, a condo at Hilton Head, kind of back and forth. But he's an interesting background. So, David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Robyn. Nice to be here.
And he's an author, and we'll be talking about his latest book. But first, tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, I was in the military 30 years, active duty and reserve, and bought and sold a lot of real estate, and taught at community colleges in a couple different states. And now we're here. My wife and I just bought a condo here. We have a farm in Pennsylvania, and we're back and forth.
So back to your military. So were you in the Army?
Yeah,
Yes.
in the Army, 23 years reserve, 7 years active, and went to war only one time, thank goodness, and
Right.
then retired, 11 years ago.
11 years ago. Is that when you started writing?
Kind of, yeah. In the military, you see the funny, odd behavior and talking, and so I wrote 3 Easy Eddie books about that, just funny or odd conversations, kind of like the Seinfeld characters. All my books are kind of like that.
Well, why did you, I mean, from Army, combat to writing, what inspired you to write?
Well, I've always wanted to write a book, but it's really hard and isolating, so I never did
Yes.
it, and it's kind of expensive, and it takes a lot of time, and it's, I don't sell that many, but it is. I always wanted to do that, so it was just interesting, and I saw the most funny things in the military and just in normal life.
Like what?
Meeting strangers, just when I love meeting strangers from here or other countries or anywhere,
Right.
but when they say something that you don't. It's nebulous, you don't know the meaning.
Really,
What did they
behind
mean
it.
by
What
that?
are they-
And then you walk away, you never see them again. So I always thought that was funny. What did they mean by that?
Right.
Was that a compliment, an insult, or what? I think it's
Interesting.
hilarious. Kind of like Seinfeld. If you like Seinfeld,
yeah,
they
yeah.
do that.
So Easyriders, hold up your latest book,
They're
the
good. Is
older
it that cute?
ones. Yeah.
And
So what is this about?
yeah,
Let me see.
this is about 2 couples. One man and woman just meet, and another couple has been married for a long time, and they ride Harleys or hogs, we call them, from Ashland, Pennsylvania, where we live, to New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right.
And it's a fun ride, and it's kind of loosely based, and they discuss the 1969 Easyrider movie, the famous movie,
Right.
throughout the book, and it kind of follows that plot a little bit, minus the death and the drugs, and none of that is in
Yeah.
there, but it's just a PG type book, and
Right.
and they meet colorful, funny, odd people along the way, bikers or whoever, and so that's Easyriders.
So it's about different characters. You
Characters.
kept saying in the military, it was about different people you would meet.
Yes.
So that's kind of what you're reflecting in the book, just different people that maybe you met in the military, that these different interesting people.
Yes, and my wife and I that's my Harley on the cover, and we go to biker events, and there's some of the funniest, best people you'll ever meet. Hilarious, and kind of, some of them are odd, some of the old ladies dress up like Britney Spears, just
Right.
odd stuff, funny stuff like that. And
And there's a stereotype with bikers too, and then you find out that they were a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company,
Yes,
an engineer,
yes,
whatever,
yes.
and yet they're bikers.
Yes.
It's an interesting, group of folks.
It
and,
is.
And now we actually have a store right here on Hilton Head.
yeah,
I know
it's
it is.
great.
Right.
It's great, yes.
So you ride,
Oh,
you
yes.
and your wife?
Yeah, but she's a little scared of it, but I ride a lot, yeah. It's fun.
Okay, so this book, where can we find it?
Oh, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, anywhere they sell books, and
And so it's just a fun, easy read about traveling throughout the country and just the different people that you can meet.
yes, and I plotted. There's a lot of reality in there. Like they stop by the Biltmore Estates in North Carolina,
Okay,
beautiful
neat.
place, and have
Yeah.
silly conversations. And they ride basically from Pennsylvania to New Orleans and have fun.
All right, and then you have all of these other
Yeah,
books
and
too.
then I've written
Yeah.
several books, but Orphans
that?
in the Barn is about orphans dealing with the 7 deadly sins. I always thought that was funny, that kind of odd that they used to put people in prison for all
Right.
kinds of things like
Right.
lust, greed.
Right.
There used to be 8 deadly sins. They took out one. Pope in 1590, I think, took out that. Sadness. They used to put people in jail for being sad, despondent.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was the 8 deadly sins. Then they changed it to 7. Pope Gregory, I think, did
Right.
that. And but it gave me new respect for Thomas Jefferson and this country, where we separate the church and the state,
Right.
and none of that being thrown in prison for all that. So, but this book, Orphans, it's orphans living in Airborne, Pennsylvania, loosely in a light way dealing with the 7 deadly sins.
Right.
They're not deadly anymore. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're a very interesting individual and author,
Thank you.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
For 30 years. And again,
You're
it's
welcome.
David
Thank
Shue, and it's really XU.
XU. And
You took on your wife's name.
Yeah. Yes.
She's
Yes.
Chinese.
Yes.
Yes.
And,
Well, I'm sure you're a lovely couple, and the book is going to be super. Thank you for being with us and talking the town.
thank you,
Thanks.
Robyn.
Thanks, David.